and you've conquered another game.
A long day, a job well done, and the final work call. Wear your place. Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mice, eat locally, enjoy casual.
Stood at the pinnacle of throwing and battled in the most intense game.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance, pushing limits,
Seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
it's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a gold line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
It has happened where people just haven't noticed and they've run out of time. Like, not good. Oh, overcooked it a bit. Jeez.
Clean! Keep going, keep going! Keep going! Keep going! Keep going! Keep going! Keep going! Keep going!
-1,000 flash will win Apparay Crow.
Oh, they're really sweeping this, boys. They're
Look at this,
really
this is a good
sweeping
one.
this. Oh, boy, you can't give up a steal here.
Oh, perfect.
Okay, nice shot from Kate.
Here we go, it's happening.
That draw for the win for Ryland Kleider needs a piece of the forefoot. He's been really good all game. Trevor Johnson on this one here.
Can't hear yet for line ever.
No, they
Line's
like
good.
line. Now does it have the speed? They like the line. Does it have the speed? They're going hard for line. You have to get by this top yellow. Trevor Johnson leaning on it. He's by it. Now does it stop in time? Has to stop in time. What a shot from Ryland Kleider. We thought it was maybe the hardest option up from the booth, but that's why we're not down there.
A long day, a job well done, and the final work call. Wear your place. Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mice, eat locally, enjoy casual.
Stood at the pinnacle of throwing and battled in the most intense game.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
and when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance, pushing limits,
seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
it's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Last drop.
Yep. Good morning, curling fans. Welcome inside the Mary Brown Center. We're here at the KIOTI National, the third stop on the Grand Slam of Curling season series, and we've got an all-ladies draw this morning. It's early on the Rock, but it's really early everywhere else in Canada, so hopefully some are tuned in this morning. Our feature game is Team Tirinzoni, who's at 1-0, having beat Team Tabata in their first game yesterday against Team Caitlin Laws. Caitlin back fresh off of the birth of her second daughter, and they lost their first game, and he checks his notes to make sure he knows who they lost to. They lost to Team Hasselberg, so tough start for Team Laws. You get Hasselberg followed by Tirinzoni, and good news is they did win the draw to the button, so slight early advantage. First two games of this event, the teams throw 2 last stone draws to the button in their pregame practice. Add them up, lowest total wins the hammer. And then for some reason, the second 2 games, only 1 draw to the button. And then they do total that all up. I think they're able to drop their worst 1 draw.
That's right, as far as you can, right out of the forefoot. Hard. Keep going, keep going. Good judge.
A little heavy there by Kristen McCush. Team Laws having a reasonable season this year, you know, not racing up the rankings because there's so many good teams, but need some more points here as they're well inside the top 16 for the slams, but not by a ton of points. Looks like they've played 6 events, qualified in 4, and every one they've made the semifinal once they've qualified. So a big event for them here this week, as the believe it or not, the cash spiel circuit kind of winding down. Well, Silvana Tirinzoni skips for Team Tirinzoni. Alina Petz throws last rock. A very familiar team coming off a win at the Euros again. Seem to win them pretty much every year. We can have a look at the lineups here as Caitlin's team is back together, and the usual lineup for Team Tirinzoni. Needs to stick around here. Going to allow them to. Looks like it does hang on. So we'll look at Team Tirinzoni. Third stone, but skipping is Silvana Tirinzoni. Last rock thrower Alina Petz, one of the best players in the game. Selena Wischonke says at second, but I believe she's playing lead. Carol Hovald is throwing second. They did start the season with Carol at lead, but have made the change. Not sure why, but seems to be working. I mean, it was working kind of well before too. Their season stats are about what you'd expect from the second-ranked team in the world. They've played 7 events. They did miss the playoffs at the Hearing Life Tour Challenge, the first Grand Slam of curling, which is unusual for them, but the other 7 events, they were first, second, second, first, so it's not too bad. Winning about half the events they play in, and I guess that means that Team Holman isn't in all the events that Tirinzoni plays in, because they've won all but 1, and that was the one Tirinzoni did not qualify in, so. Good shot there from Jocelyn Peterman, Team Caitlin Laws, second. I will be joined by super announcer Robbie Doherty. He's a man of many trades. He did the morning announcements to get these games underway, and he will be joining me in the booth as soon as he can get all the way up to the rafters here where they have us, the Mary Brown Center. All 4 sheets are in action today. Got Team Hasselberg versus Team Gim. Team Tabata versus Xenia Schwaller. And then on the far sheet, we've got an all-Japanese matchup. Team Yoshimura versus Team Fujisawa. 2 teams that know each other quite well. Come all the way over to Newfoundland and Labrador to play. Jocelyn trying to make this hit and roll. Over curls, so we're trying to roll it to the wide side. Caitlin probably looking to blank this end. And Team Tirinzoni looking for, at some point, getting either a hit and roll out If Tirinzoni rolls out, Caitlin, I'm sure, will peel that guard. I'm not sure, but I think will peel that guard. And if Tirinzoni gets a roll it, they'll try and whip one right around that center guard to the forefoot and at least force, maybe steal. First third stone here is our look at Silvana Tirinzoni. Needs to go to stick. Needs to stick around for sure. Does stick around, rolls to the wing, but that's fine. Wanting to make it as difficult as possible for Caitlin to hit and stay. We've got the Premier of PEI joining us as promised. Robbie Doherty just getting to the booth, getting rid of his main mic to put on the headset mic. This one needs to curl to stick around. Selena Nagovin, third stone here for Team Caitlin Laws. Does stick around, but might roll behind the center guard. Good morning, Robbie.
Top of the morning to you, Brent.
How are we doing?
Oh, it's another day in St. John's.
Right.
Coyote National has delivered so far. Good crowd this morning. Boy, oh boy, it's another good day of curling here on the Rock.
We're going to have to start coming back here more often, I think. As long as Gushu's playing, I think this is the place to be.
I think so, too. I think so, too.
Not to take anything away from Charlottetown and the Islanders.
Nope.
PEI did a fantastic job as well. This one's a bit of another level, though.
I think this is another level than anything we've seen before.
I would agree with that.
And it's pretty special this week here in St. John's, to say the least. Yesterday, the pregame ceremony, when Gushu was on the ice, they all asked me, how are you going to introduce them? I said, I'm not.
You don't have to.
All I said was throw in the Yellow Rocks, standing ovation.
We talked about that and then didn't hear another word you said. I'm sure it was beautiful.
I don't know if I said anything.
But it was. It fired up my PTSD from the 2017 Brier, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I love this place, but I also hate it.
Yeah, my relegation loss didn't sit well.
No? See, we've all got our own scars, our own demons.
Shout out to Eddie McKenzie if you're tuned in this morning. Charlottetown.
He was your skipper that year?
Oh, yeah.
10.
Really close team bonding. Ed is getting ready for the Canadian Seniors in Moncton coming up.
That's a fun event. Yeah, Everest sponsors that one. I just came from the Everest Club Championships in Barrie, Ontario. And Everest makes sure that the players are treated like the rock stars they are. So Eddie will have a great time out there. That's right up his alley. The social part of it is alive and well.
Yeah, and I tuned into a lot of that Everest Curling Club National Championships. And boy, oh boy, it looked like more than a curling event. It seemed like just a full week of action-packed days and lots to do. So shout out to them for putting on a world-class event for us club curlers. 5-0 in the Tuesday Night League.
Nice.
Curling Club, Brent.
Marching towards the national championship next year, potentially, hey?
It's in the cards. Just trying to drum up some sponsorship here.
Right?
There's a nice roll.
Little plug there. Looks like that one's fully buried, and Caitlin's going to have to decide, are we going to try and chase it or try and make the skips deuce? And I think this makes a lot of sense. Don't want to freeze to the back one because you know Alina's too good to miss the follow down, freeze, and force you, so might as well take your shot at 2.
Yeah, you can say that again. Alina Petz, one of the best shooters in the game. No doubt about it. Caitlin Laws, how about back on the ice after 3 weeks after giving birth to new daughter Ella? Pretty impressive here in St. John's.
Crazy, right? I barely come back, and I didn't have to do anything after our kids. I could barely come back after 3 weeks.
We played quite a few hits in here, so it should be nice.
You've seen this young lady throw a lot of rocks over the years, Brent, after her time with Jennifer.
Yeah, for sure. I used to care a lot about how Caitlin's games went. Not that I don't at all anymore, but I care less. We'll say that. But no, we got to know Caitlin and Steph reasonably well over the years, and you know when Caitlin started with Jennifer, she was a baby herself, fresh out of juniors pretty much. Had played 1 year in ladies, I think, and brought a new energy and excitement to that Team Jones, and they went on a bit of a 10-year run there and won a lot of stuff.
They did okay. Olympic gold. Couple Grand Slams here and there.
Yeah, and a World Championship. Won a Scotties with Caitlin on the team, but Caitlin was off winning her second Olympic gold, so Shannon Burchard came in and Caitlin came back for the Worlds. This looks real good. That looks perfect.
Perfect spot.
I think Alina's going to have to play the run back. How's your Swiss German?
It's fair at best.
Okay.
I will say it's better than my Swedish.
Okay, good. So you know a couple. She thinks she can chase it. From that angle, it looks bad, but I guess that's off center here. So these, Robbie, I find are the shots that I see missed the most often at the slams, especially in the first end or two, because it's a guess a little bit on the line, but also the speed. Saw a corner guard hogged over here, Sophia Maybergs, who doesn't hog a lot of corner guards in the first end, so that tells me down the middle's a little slow this morning.
We hear the term fresh path a lot. I'm going to ask you about that in a moment, but I just heard it in Swiss German. Translated that by myself, Brent.
Oh, boy.
And,
Sounds pretty good, Robbie. That's not supposed to be that easy.
She made it look easy. That's Alina Petz 101.
Wow. And now Caitlin will have the same draw, but good start from the skips here.
That's a hair raise.
Alina making that great hit and roll on her first to force Caitlin into a draw. Caitlin made it really well, but Alina, as I said, made that chase look too easy. So fresh path, Robbie. It's basically in practice, all we focus on is the draw of the button because it's so important in tiebreakers and for the hammer. So you don't throw anything other than kind of edge of 8 or around there, but a 6 or 8 inch path from there to the button. So a fresh path is something where rock hasn't been down since they pebbled and nipped the ice, you know, before practice. So it can be, sometimes it can be like 20 feet heavier.
20 feet.
That's a lot.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Final stone. First end. Caitlin Laws. Going to draw for one.
Sneaky ad.
Sneaky ad. Caitlin giving the sweepers the info they need. It's always nice to hear from the thrower what they think. I mean, we're going to make our own judgment as sweepers as well, but I always love to hear when a skip let it go and said, I think that's real close, or I think you got to go.
And that looks like it's going to settle in nicely to the 4-foot.
No trouble.
One yellow. Team Laws on the board with the hammer here after the first end. Coyote National coverage continues in St. John's. We'll be back.
For your place. Come as you are. And fit in comfortably. Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casual.
Action here from the Coyote National. Third event this season on the Grand Slam of Curling. Team Laws leading Tirinzoni 1-0. Lead Kristen Gordon trying to get things set up for Team Laws. Brent Lang alongside me, giving me a hand as in my Tuesday night curling stage of my career. Thankful for the insight, Brent.
My pleasure, Robbie. I'm very close to that stage of my career as well.
Settle in on the center line. Brent, so many times for maybe young teams or new curlers watching, we hear them ask for the guard tight to the rings, close to the rings. For what reason? Why does that matter how tight it is as long as it's on the center line, if that makes sense, if it's protecting the butt?
Yeah, I think there's two reasons. One, it's easier to use it later in the end. If Sylvana called for the come around here, it'd be easier to make that run back if you wanted. But more importantly is, if it's too close to the hog line, if it's too high, there's too much space between where your rock's going to be in the rings when you come around, which makes it way easier to make that chase like Alina made last time. You see how good the ice is, how much curl there is. She made the chase around a tight guard, so if that was a high guard, she could have easily nosed it. So I think that's probably reason number one is it needs to be a usable guard. Anything kind of Coyote logo or higher than that, it's not a very good guard because you can chase anything behind it. Yeah. Just all these teams are so good. The ice conditions are so good now that the back line hack weight chase, if it's a halfway or higher guard, it's almost a guaranteed make. Sometimes, and I think sometimes when, Tirinzoni quite often will play that corner guard after you throw the center. And for me, I think another center guard a lot of times is what Savannah probably didn't want to see. You play the come around, which is made pretty well by Kristen here, but there is a chase. Looks like there's a little bit extra curl this morning, actually, Robbie. We didn't see a ton of rocks coming out the other side, but we've seen two good come arounds, one by Kristen and one by Caitlin. Both come out the other side with perfect weight. Maybe a little more curl this morning. No mistake there by Selena.
Tirinzoni lays one.
Be interesting to see also this week. I think last night maybe a little bit of frost built up, the leftover heat from that Team Gushu being in the building in the afternoon and packed barn. But when we were here for the Brier in 2017, it's always raining here, it seems. They've had like 30 days in a row of rain, according to all the locals. But when it rains and they get a lot of body heat in this building, frost can be a problem. As it was almost enough of a problem on Brad's last shot to draw to win that Brier, but the building tilted. I swear to God, the whole crowd ran to one end and the building tilted and it got there.
Well, when you mentioned that 20 feet slower in the fresh path, all I could think of was Brett Gallant.
Right.
With the bravery to say to your skip in the hack to win a Brier, oh, it's 6 feet slower.
Right? If only he had said 4.
I had a good chat with the German men's team, Team Muskatovich, yesterday before the game, and I said, hey, fellas, just going to let you know this intro might be a little lopsided. They said, oh, don't worry, we're so excited.
Yeah,
they encouraged me to be as loud as I wanted and fire them up, so good on them. Talked to them after. They said there was an experience they'll never forget here. In St. John's, that's the thing about St. John's is they're loud, they're passionate fans, but they're always respectful, and they're,
for sure.
They're very, very happy to see this world-class event in their city, as the curlers are just as happy to be here. Nice hit and roll from Jocelyn Peterman.
Great shot from Jocelyn there, and probably going to force the run back here. And you're right, Robbie, the St. John's people there, passionate. And we saw some curlers get screeched in last night, which was awesome. The guy who did it, I've never seen a guy put on a show like that getting screeched in. But he talked about, we're Newfoundlanders, the proud people, obviously, and consider themselves a hardy people with the weather and everything they deal with out here. But he says, we're everywhere. We're all across Canada. And it couldn't be more true. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's that many Newfoundland and Labrador people, but they seem to be everywhere. Brad Gushu is a favorite wherever they go, and I know that's not just people from Newfoundland, but you always know when you meet them, they're the friendliest people you'll meet, and they got sometimes, especially later at night, they're hard to understand.
I think my PEI heritage helps me a little bit in that.
Yeah, you're kind of a gateway to Newfoundland and Labrador, right?
Yeah.
Or the Scottish guys. I thought maybe they didn't, but they were in there last night, and they were like, oh, what? Pardon? Say again? So the run back's missed, and Selena will try and guard this up. Another well-played end, really by both sides. Talked a little bit in the opening, Robbie, about Caitlin's team having a pretty good year, but not holding on to their slam spot by a super comfortable margin, which is just, it speaks to the depth, especially on the ladies' side of those teams, kind of 15 to 20. They're not far behind.
Especially around the world. You look even in this draw right now, we see two Japanese teams on sheet A, Korean team on sheet D, playing a Swedish team, another Japanese team against a Swiss team beside them. So Team Law is the lone Canadian team out there. It's certainly, especially on the women's side, getting a lot tougher to hold your spot in these big events.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And Team Carey is in the same boat. They're right around the same ranking as Team Laws and Team Carey, and both would really benefit from a qualify and a deep playoff run here just to solidify that spot in the Guelph Slam. not a ton of events left to play into, which is good news and bad news, I guess. The competition who's chasing them don't have a lot to play in either. But are we down to 4 Canadian teams on the women's side? Is that accurate, Robbie?
I believe so. Chunky trying to make this curl. They'll stick around. Tirinzoni lays one side of the 8-foot. Pretty conservative start for both these teams. Not wanting to mix it up just yet. Could be something to do with what you had said, a little more curl on the ice than we've seen so far. Is that unusual, Brent, for morning draw to be a little bit swingier? So often we hear about how it's straighter, it's a little cooler in the building.
Yeah, more often than not, you're right, Robbie. It is a little bit straighter and a little bit, it's usually the fastest draw. You know, in these kind of week-long events, you play in the morning, you get the freshest ice. There is no, the building's had all night to cool off, and the ice maker's been able to get the humidity out. And so, yeah, generally it's straighter and faster in the morning. And as the day goes on, if anything, it will get a little slower and a little bit more curl. And we saw that last night, especially on the board sheet. Rachel played Team Carey, and there was some uncharacteristic misses on over curls, and you heard them talking, especially after the game. I ran into them. Team Homan got screeched in last night, and they were saying the ice was tricky last night. After all day, all 3 draws, all I heard was how good it was. So
that's interesting to hear.
It
would have been fun to witness last night. All those players from around the world getting screeched in.
I think if you go on social media at all today, you're going to be bombarded with it if you follow the Grand Slam of Curling or Nick Sulsky. After he runs up to Signal Hill to raise money, there will be a lot. There was cameras everywhere, so it was pretty awesome.
I did happen to see some footage. It did look like a fun night. And a little bit of jealousy setting in that I missed that one.
And it depended on who you talked to. What was the harder part? Kissing the fish, kissing the cod, or drinking the screech?
For me, it's always the bologna.
Yeah, the bologna was first.
It's the bologna.
I'm not going to name names, but a few famous curlers kind of closed their hand around the bologna and threw it out later.
Busted.
Yeah, I'm not going to name names because I don't want anybody to get booed in here. Caitlin, a chance to roll this one right to the top of the button. And as she said, it will be above the tee line. So, yeah, you're right, Robbie. A little bit of not a defensive, but a conservative start. A couple of guards were thrown, but nothing crazy. Caitlin winning the hammer. I think in general, if you compare these two teams, Caitlin calls it a little bit more defensive or a little simpler style. That's just what they've decided is what's going to lead to the most wins for them. And Silvana, one of the more aggressive skips, and this is one of their more aggressive teams. Another reason why winning the hammer was so big for Team Laws.
Doesn't look like it's going to get the roll. It won't, so Laws line one, but wide open for Alina Petz.
Alina will try and make the hit and flop under, and Caitlin will either have to make the same chase Alina made last end or the run back. That'll be her choice. The guard is right on that kind of halfway mark, so it's a little high. Caitlin can probably chase, but we'll see. Have you been to the rock shop this week, Robbie? Have you seen the goo shoes?
Listen, I'm not going to say anything, but there might be a pair of size 10s and
on hold?
The 10th floor somewhere, the Delta.
Oh, really?
I'm not going to say the room number because it could be stolen this week, but they're pretty sharp, I got to say.
They are pretty cool.
Yeah. It's always fun when something like that comes out in the curling world. I remember there was a curling equipment company that came out with some pretty fancy boots a few years ago, and I made sure I was the first to get a pair.
Nice.
Still wear them.
Trying to roll. Good sweep there, and held it straight enough to stick around. And if you're not going to make the roll under, the roll way over there is pretty good. And Caitlin now trying to roll to the edge of the rings behind the corner guard to try and force. So, yeah, I don't know if they're as big as Air Jordans yet, but you got to start somewhere.
Well, listen.
I'll be like a
globally.
Solid.
Locally, they're
I'm not
probably
taking
bigger.
that, or I will take that bet. Actually,
that's fair enough. In the Mary Brown Center, it's not even close.
No, I second that. I'll tell you what, you asked me if I've been to the rock shop, and just chatting with the powers that be, the bosses last night, I was told a lot of people were at the rock shop. So
it was busy every time I walk by it from the hotel to here, and it's packed every time.
Yep. And if you're planning to get here, you want to get a souvenir or something to take home from this event this week, I suggest you do it early.
don't want to miss any of the action. So last stone here for Team Laws. Caitlin trying to chase this one that's mostly open. There is an ability to roll under the corner guard.
Trying to make this curl. Talked about that late movement. I think we're going to get enough. So a chance for Alina Petz to blank. Team Tirinzoni.
Even better, not even better, but another option if you are running late, you just hop on your phone, the GSOC app. You can buy all the stuff that's in there. I don't know if you can get the goose shoes, though. I shouldn't speak out of turn here. That might be I know they're limited edition. There's only a few hundred pairs, so if you're thinking you're going to buy them later in the week, I definitely wouldn't wait for that.
Please don't come to the 10th floor at the Delta knocking on
Yeah,
doors.
now that you
Final stone here in the second end. Looking for the blank. Team Tirinzoni. Alina Petz. Close to avoid the jam. And they will. So, goose eggs on the board here in the second end. 1-0. Team Laws leading Team Tirinzoni. Draw 5. We'll be back on the other side of the break.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared. I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And is the choice of champions.
Welcome back to the Mary Brown Center here in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. Draw 5 action here from the KIOTI National. Grand Slam of Curling is in town, and St. John's has showed up for it this week. Into day 2.
It's a nice schedule as a player. You play one game a day. Although, and then you get into the quarterfinals and you win that, and either the men or the ladies, I'm not sure who's back-to-back this week, but you play 2 games in 8 hours or in 6 hours even, so it's a bit of a... But nobody has any trouble playing back-to-back playoff games.
No. And if you're playing one game a day, it's kind of nice in a city like St. John's. There's so much to do that you don't have to travel too far within the city.
You need the event to be longer than this. I mean, lots of teams came in a couple days early, but you probably need 2 or 3 weeks to get through all the great restaurants for dinners and lunches and breakfasts around here.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And, I mean, if you want to hit George Street, you're going to need a couple days to recover.
Never heard of it.
No? Never been there.
Never been there. It's funny you mentioned player schedules, and I was doing some notes for this game last night, and one of the things I kind of realized with myself, these two teams coming in with very different schedules within the last month. You know, Caitlin Laws, she was obviously occupied, giving birth to her new daughter during the Nisku Slam just a few weeks ago. So this is her first event in 3 weeks. Or excuse me, after giving birth to baby Ella. So she's been off the ice for quite a while, and obviously working on getting her legs back naturally. But Team Tirinzoni, they went right from Nisku to Finland to play the European Championships, which they won. And now they're right back here in St. John's. So a lot of travel for that team. It's kind of like two opposites on the extreme ends. So
yeah, all the European teams, and we kind of guessed last night watching Stefania Constantini and her team. I wouldn't say they looked flat, but they didn't seem like they had that same spark as normal, and they had a really uncharacteristic game, lots of misses, and but that is a lot of curling, and more than that, it's a lot of travel. I know Ryan Fry was over there, and I ran into his much better half, Jess, last night, as she's always there for the social stuff for the slams. And I was like, where's our little buddy? Where's Ryan? She said, oh, he's hurting. He's 30 hours of travel to get here, whatever the 6-hour time change. And no time. Like, they came straight from the forests of Finland, as John Cullen said, to St. John's. And it is a lot. So it'll be interesting as the week starts, the jet lag and the tiring. And then as it goes on, how much you have left in the tank, mentally and physically. Chance maybe for our Canadian teams to, make a run. Not that we need to help Rachel make a run, but
no. Now you mentioned uncharacteristic finish for Constantini last night. And there were some interesting line scores all over the map, so you got to wonder if fatigue is one of the key factors in that. It's a nice looking draw coming up from Team Laws.
I even saw Bruce Mowat miss a couple shots, which that's got to be something going on there.
You don't see that very often.
No, you don't.
Especially not in a Grand Slam. Undefeated in the Grand Slams this year. He was on the ropes with Team Craig.
He was. Yeah, they had a good chance, and the seventh end kind of got away from them a little bit, and they chose a difficult draw to the button on the last instead of James could have tried a really hard double, but he's going to probably kill one 95% of the time. But it's you gotta win all 8 ends, or you don't have to win all 8 ends, but you got to be in the lead at the end. And the best teams generally find a way to make that happen. Something that Team Craig is learning how to do. They were one of the teams screeched in. There's a real nice shot there from Carol. And Caitlin, I like the call here, the double centers. Third end, she wants somebody to score here. Doesn't want to give up a deuce, but a force here would be real nice to get hammer and 4. And doesn't want to see Silvana get anything behind that corner guard. And the best way to do that is say, I don't think you can ignore 2 centers. And Kristen Gordon, those are perfect. Both on the center line, lined up, tight one, high one. So, and now you see everything building up in the forefoot, Robbie, which it's hard to score more than one on the button.
Room if you're tapping. Room if you're teeing.
Looking for the corner freeze here, Brent.
Stay close, though. Straight. Hard. Oh, back.
This looks very good. Ooh, just a little bounce, just slightly mismanaged, which 2 inches heavy there is night and day different. Now you can see this one coming in there, and if that stops right there, they can't come down and just bump it and roll, but now they can, just like back button. Even if they froze on the nose, Caitlin's in some trouble.
You know, wonder if Team Laws just maybe struggling to get the feel. As far this week, we saw them yesterday in action against Hasselborg, and not that they played bad. They were just the wrong side of the inch, a foot off here, a foot off there, and we saw that last draw coming back 4, and their sweepers were thinking it was top button and slid back, and Carol made that great shot, and then once again rolled off. So keep an eye on that, see if they're struggling a little bit.
Oh, the feather tick, I think. I didn't see it, but just the reaction,
hit the back of the rock.
That's still in a pretty good spot. Caitlin needs to get one top button in there. I don't see a blank coming, but every time I say what I don't see or what I do see, the opposite happens, Robbie. I don't know about your experience in the booth yet, but that's my record. You want to fade whatever I say.
Listen, I shouldn't say this out loud, but I said it yesterday and I'll say it again. I take great pride in my vision and my rock judgment on who's closer. If there's a measure.
Okay, good, because I'm not good at that either.
I'll make my opinion known early.
You got a 6th sense for it, hey?
I do.
Okay.
I do. It's about the only thing I can contribute. Jocelyn Peterman trying to work on this one, looking for it. Top 4. Kristen Gordon trying to drag it for weight. So they have to go, trying to get it through the top 12. That's going to stop. Top 8, Team Laws still lies 1.
It's in a pretty good spot, though. Kind of guards a lot of that red one, but does leave the yellow one open. Can they just come down and bump that and roll off and leave the side red one? That's a good point there by Alina. If we could freeze on shot, then we would have both sides. You could come and bump the yellow into the red, or you could run that left corner guard in. It's a very precise shot, but if this is made by Silvana, I don't know what Team Laws will do to kind of get out of it.
Tirinzoni with that short corner guard as well.
I'd keep an eye on that rock for sure.
Might be usable, especially with Alina Petz throwing the last one.
Yeah, I was a little tight. We've gone to a little different path than Jocelyn.
Anna Tirinzoni has been around this game for a long time. She's accomplished a lot.
Won her first Grand Slam in the Fog Bowl in Paradise, Newfoundland, I believe, in 2015. Stole 2 to win, too, on the ice got frosty. It was a wild week. It was jam-packed, too. Not an arena this big, but...
Brent, I actually played in that one.
Nice.
And I've never received a greeting like I did at that event. Oh, this one looking good. Settling in. Top button frozen.
That is so good.
Perfection from Silvana.
So Caitlin has to throw the out-turn freeze bump on the yellow and has to move that one that's top button. Almost even if she doesn't leave herself shot. I wouldn't hit it, but I would definitely move it.
Try and play hack at that. Sorry? We're good. Play hack at
You mentioned the double center earlier on in the end. It's one of those situations where it's great when you get it set up as perfectly as they did, but you better follow up with your next few.
It's true. And same, I mean, it's just been a battle of precise shots here and just missed by an inch here or there. Like even the mismanaged on Jocelyn's what caused this problem. If it was a rock higher, even if it didn't get shot, completely changes the complexion of this end. And so hack weight here. Caitlin thinking she can hit this yellow onto the red and not move shot rock.
There you see, you mentioned the extra curl. Get a look at it. That rock's almost fully buried. They're making a hack weight play on it, so I don't think we would have saw that yesterday. There's certainly a little more movement, it appears.
So there's no miss here. People talk about tolerance, like it's not like it's okay to hit the guard here. You just got to make this shot. I wouldn't have wanted to hear a yes right away. This isn't going to be good news.
Looks like it's curling early.
Yeah, you can't. That's not even close, unfortunately. Like to hit the top guard there, she missed the line by almost 12 inches. And now Caitlin's going to have to fire up the rocket launcher because they've got a chance to lie. Probably just 3. They might be better off to just come in with back line or back 4 even and just bump it and keep it all lined up. Because if you hit it hard and kill that yellow, Caitlin's going to have that same shot to lie top button. Whereas if you just freeze bump it, she won't. Your shooter will kind of get in the way almost. Interesting situation. Big opportunity for Team Tirinzoni, and they're one of the smartest teams out here. They'll talk it through and find something that makes the most sense. It's not uncommon to see, like you said, Silvana's been around, and Alina, this team's been at the top of the world for a long time, and generally experience is what leads to wisdom in this game. It's hard to learn it without screwing it all up a bunch of times first. That's the best way to learn it, unfortunately. Do it wrong, do it bad till you do it good.
This Tirinzoni team, they just seem to work so well together as well. Like they truly, one of those foursomes that truly get along and enjoy what they do. And always a pleasure to spend time with here on the road, and certainly translates on the ice. Number 2 in the world, European champions.
Definitely doesn't look like a job for them. It looks like something they really enjoy doing, and that's what, when a team's had as much success as them, you wonder what keeps you going. And I think it's probably just a love for the game, but also just a love for being around the, probably what becomes 3 of your best friends.
Yep.
Not all teams operate that way. Some do operate more like a business, and it's, hey, I don't have to like you to perform well together on the ice.
Yeah. It can make for a long season.
That's what I always felt. Yeah. The struggles get real struggly then.
That's the real reason I stick to Tuesday nights now, Brent.
Right.
Not that
So they have chosen a lighter weight. I think this is smart. Makes the shot a little harder, though. Can Carol get it by?
Trying to get it by. There they go, trying to make it curl.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I don't speak Swiss German, but that's real something good. Caitlin still has to play that yellow, and she just has no choice.
Not a lot of angles for them. I guess
she could run the middle. Probably could get rid of 2 if you ran the middle.
Playing the same thing. It's probably just ticking that and going there and leaving anything.
But I think she's leaning towards the run. I think if you played the hack waiter, it's going to kill the one top button. You might even just kind of spin over on the right. The left side one here as we look at it. Kill the one right top button, roll onto the other one. You might stay second shot, and I don't see how they'd get it out. I get her desire to kill some stuff, but
What about options if they don't make the run perfectly? Is there must be a benefit to them getting rid of that yellow guard for their next one?
potentially. I mean, it's probably she's too good to miss everything. Caitlin's one of the best in the world at this shot. She'll make some contact somewhere. If it misses it and runs it into the red one that Silvana just threw, that probably isn't going to end up very good. She'll probably kill one, but there's a chance she wouldn't kill any. So they're gonna get Coach Connor Nagovin out here. Lead stones for Reed Carruthers. Team Rama, they're not sure if they're coaches or players.
They're
both.
a busy team.
They're both.
Junior instructors on Sunday mornings.
Oh yeah, they're great for that. Reed's just a good human, but he's always done that for the kids. Let's hear what Connor has to say.
And then leaving our shooter right there. Yeah.
I don't know if we can outcount this one.
Yeah, we can. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we can.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I've only seen top lines. I haven't seen half lines. So I'm just trying to guess on. Yeah, their hack was like 11, so I just haven't seen path in a while. But yeah, what do you think back four is? That's all. And a half.
I like that.
So I think a really good timeout there from Connor. I would agree with everything he said, and Caitlin had a lot of questions. And Connor just had the answers, whether or not he believes it or not. I think he could sense Caitlin's not sure of this shot. I don't think she loves it. I think her gut is she wants to play the run back, but I think this is a better shot. And so every question she had, Connor had the answer for her.
What is the call, Brent?
Just a back 4 foot.
Early and then
Just come down and try and get to the nose of the one that Selena was trying to hit and bump it right into the pocket there. Probably, going to leave Tirinzoni lying 2, but there's not going to be any way to get this rock out. And it's a damage control shot, a really tough shot to try and hold your opponents to 2. So wanting back 4 was the last words out of their mouth.
Trying to move things around here. Caitlin Laws. Stand gets later and later.
Does it have enough weight to get it there?
I don't think so, Brent. Yeah, they're going to move. Okay, so that's frozen in the pocket. Still lying 2, though.
Third shot.
Tirinzoni.
And you can see her shooter there lined up. I don't think Silvana and Alina can ignore that yellow-yellow combo. They disagree. They think they can. You can see if Caitlin plays the same shot with kind of hack, hits it anywhere high, rolls off, she's going to stay second shot in a spot where they can't really get it out.
2 to 3 feet more.
Timeout. I don't think that Team Tirinzoni travels with a coach. Is Pierre still their coach? Some days?
That I can't confirm. He was with them at the European Championships.
Okay.
I can't confirm.
Nor deny.
Or deny.
I know when they win, he always says he's their coach. Is that?
And complains that he doesn't get a piece of cheese. Fromage.
Yeah, he hits it or taps it, it's going to move ours over.
So they're thinking if they can tap this, maybe that it leaves a hole for the yellow-yellow. That's the other way to deal with it. Connor's still talking to Caitlin. The other coach does have access to their team even during the Swiss timeout. Canadians can chat with their coach. So they're dead set on, I think, bumping this right on the nose, the red one. Move the yellow one back button to open up a hole for that yellow-yellow, so that doesn't help Caitlin as much. But a lot of times you're going to tap this too far, potentially. I guess there is a bit of a catcher at the back, but it looks like there might just be a hole. An aggressive call here and a kind of a good read, though. It looks like it works if they make it perfect, and then don't know what Caitlin will do next.
After Caitlin's last one, you heard Selena say 14-5. It's a little better than we thought, and we talked earlier on in this end with them just being a couple feet heavy on everything. It seems like they're starting to try to make the adjustment. See if Alina follows suit. Her first here in the third.
So wants this to get right to the nose, and
Yes.
they know this spot. Oh, the sweeper said back line. I don't think it's that heavy.
This is curling as well. Trying to keep it straight. Ovald. Move it. The shooter rolls in on the center line.
Didn't move it quite far enough, so what happens if Caitlin hits that yellow?
We're really good. Or we just tap this again and try and get second.
That might be the play there. I know for sure if that yellow one gets in for second shot, it's not going anywhere. Caitlin's initial shot was as we look at it now, the left nose hit double.
Let's just talk. Let's see. Josh, what do you see?
That's also a good shot. I think that would probably force him to one as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're third.
Couple of options here for Team Laws. I think if you had told Caitlin that before she threw her first one, she would have taken it. There weren't a lot of options when she
For
in the
sure.
hack.
Or we play the tap, like nose, and then we just try and freeze
I think
it.
you can kind of hit that yellow in that Caitlin's shooter with almost any weight, and it just kind of squirts right into that pocket.
This is probably safer because I'm not sure where that goes. And if we leave
Okay, so we play it tight, basically.
It's very
We just can't roll
precise.
off, right? Because then it's absolute death, too.
Yeah, whatever you've seen, Caitlin, both are good. We just need to make a plan of what we're going to do with the two or the shooter.
Selena's worried, yeah, if you hit the yellow one, where does the shooter go and where does the one you're hitting go? To, if it, I don't think it matters all that much.
Yeah. And that two is probably rolling off. So then if two goes to there, puts him on cabin.
Certainly a lot to look at in the forefoot right now. Team Laws taking their time, making this decision as well.
Yeah, both teams burning some time this end, and we talked about it yesterday. It's actually a ton of time they get because we watched Team Haw yesterday. They were extremely slow most of the game, but they knew, I think they knew all along because they weren't really concerned and still ended up with 3 minutes an end the last two ends. But so yeah, all these angles, all these rocks, when in doubt, hit something red, I guess. Right on the nose. It's going to probably hit the back one. I don't know that matters. If it doesn't leave, it somehow jams off the yellow into the other red and stays and kills those back yellows. Be an awfully lonely yellow.
What about the shooter here, Brent? Do they want to keep that on the nose and leave it there to maybe block any kind of an angle raise or a draw? Or
that's perfect. Right on the nose, you can see would clip that red on the button, roll off. They think they can lie second shot and kind of have both sides covered. So a big shot. There's too many rocks for me to say for sure what's going to happen, but I think this works out pretty good.
So Caitlin Laws, her last stone here in the third end, looking to move some reds.
Close, clean, curl.
Trying to make it curl. Kristen Gordon going to be wide. Is there anything on that top yellow for Tirinzoni?
She went straight to the draw. I actually think, no, there isn't. Just because that yellow probably comes back on the side 8-1 and that's going to kill the top red. So this is a difficult draw for two and a bit of a dodge, not a bit, a big dodge for Team Laws. Two great shots from the skipper there and didn't hold the shooter. If she did hold the shooter, would have probably held her to one. So a very precise draw here for Alina Petz, who ran to the other end. I think this is what she was expecting to have to throw. That looked a little hard to me. It's always hard to tell from up here, though. Are you any good at judging from up here, Robbie? I can barely do it when I'm sweeping beside the rock, so.
I'm not good at judging up here or down there, so. But when it stops.
I know what it is, yeah.
There you go. This one looks like it needs to settle down a little bit, trying to make it curl. Maybe get a rub. I think they're going to get it, so. After all that, it's 1 red. Tirinzoni ties it up. Missed opportunity. This team from Switzerland. 4th end action on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. It's the Coyote National here from St. John's.
Sneaking for us.
When you've conquered another game, a long day, a job well done, and the final work call, we're your place. Come as you are and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casual.
Welcome back to the Coyote National Draw 5 coverage here from the Mary Brown Center in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. Brent, we've been here before around the province. It's been a while since we've been here at the Mary Brown Center. You mentioned the Fog Bowl in Paradise.
Yeah.
I never quite received a greeting like I did at that event. I walked in the change room, first person to see me, the legendary Ben Hebert.
Uh-oh.
Looks at me with a kind message. Huh? You're tier 1?
He meant that with love.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I've reminded him about it many times.
I doubt he wants to take it back.
No apologies.
So in our game here, you got to feel like if your team Tirinzoni, you feel like you almost gave up a steal, and if your team Laws, that's got to feel like a very, very good escape. And you heard Caitlin say at the end of the end there, good force. And I hope she kind of smiled after, like as in got away with one there a little bit. Maybe leave me some easier shots next end.
I think too, yeah. And you're the expert in the booth, but you know, from an amateur point of view, you got to give some credit to Connor Negevin as well, the coach. Really a meaningful timeout when they called it, but also gathered the troops at the home end when Tirinzoni had their timeout and kind of refreshed the mind, got Caitlin in a good headspace to throw her last one. And
yeah, I think Connor did a great job and simplified it. And like I said, Caitlin seemed, I think, without Connor coming out, she may have ended up playing that run back. And who knows what would have happened. It may have ended up the same or a different result. But I really loved how Connor, when Caitlin had questions, which it seemed like she had lots of, she was kind of concerned about the shot. He just had answers. And it was very calm and direct. And I think that was, kind of the perfect timeout from Connor there.
Talked about earlier on when you were sharing stories about when Caitlin played with Jennifer, and you mentioned she was 1 year out of juniors when she joined that team. And Caitlin, 2 years in a row, won the Canadian Juniors, but not the simplest paths. Very great fields in that time frame. I was at the same championships as her in 2009, where she defeated a young Rachel Holman in the final.
Never heard of her.
No, and I think that year, the next year or something, there was 9 of those skips in the Scotties. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Caitlin might have won the juniors, but she certainly played some tough teams and went through some tough fields. So.
There's a great story for probably not mine to tell, but the first event that Caitlin played with Team Jones, it was over in Europe, and they had a pit stop in Turkey at the Turkish baths. That's all I'll say. So we'll say they got to know each other pretty quick. But they just clicked right away. And I mean, I've heard Jennifer speak at tons of events over the years and talk about the team and what Caitlin brought. And similar to Team Tirinzoni, they just got along so well on and off the ice, and that just makes it easier. A bit of a mistake there early. We'll see if Jocelyn can capitalize and make the nose hit here would be good. Even if he rolled far away, wouldn't be the worst. Interesting, Caitlin didn't throw the corner guard in 4 here. She wants the deuce here, and she's okay with getting one. Maybe that's why she went around. Didn't want to get the double centers, and then maybe was worried that Silvana would call that.
Tirinzoni, shot rock in the 8-foot. 2 yellow rocks on top, so we'll see how they decide to maneuver it. Here's second, Carol Havald.
Carol trying to steal one of our Canadian curlers, hey? Her and Kirk Myers, one of the best mixed doubles players in Canada, one of the favorites to represent Canada at the World Championships, and then hopefully the Olympics in mixed doubles if Canada can qualify. So Carol spends a lot of time over here in Saskatchewan. I was going to say Canada, but Saskatchewan. Saskatoon, I think.
Yeah, this team, they spend so much time here, but yeah, Carol certainly spending more time in Saskatchewan these days, but at the Hearing Life Tour Challenge, came a few days early along with her friend from Saskatchewan, and they said, Robbie, we want to do something tonight that we can't do anywhere else but PEI. I said, okay. I made the itinerary, and
what happened?
We had some fun. Might have stopped at karaoke.
Nice.
Yogi's Food and Bar.
All the hot spots in Charlottetown.
Oh, the hottest spots. A lot of fun. I had a chance to get to know Carol's sister, Nicole, who spends a lot of time here watching. She's in St. John's this week, and she became good friends with one of our staff members here, Pierce Clark, and she came for a week in the spring and came back for a week in the fall. She loved the East Coast, so said she wouldn't miss St. John's for the world. Had some apps last night with Nicole and Pierce and their friends. So you mentioned they spend a lot of time in Canada. I think they've fell in love with it over here as a family. Their parents actually spent time in PEI as well on a separate trip. So
wow.
You mentioned I'm the premier of PEI and on behalf of the tourism department.
Yeah, maybe more the head of the board of tourism. Yeah. Aggressive call here, Robbie. Leaving 2 Laws Rocks top 12, top 8, and just playing the come around.
This one's sliding deep into the back 4.
But kind of lost in there, over-buried, and hard to hit that. You'd love to hit that top 8 rock if you were Caitlin. And Peel, the guard's going to go back. Eventually, Caitlin's going to have to draw, I think. So if that's the case, I think I might draw now. I don't see Silvana and Alina taking their foot off the gas. So
again, Brent, for maybe the younger up and coming curlers watching the broadcast, and is there ever a time in a game, in your opinion, when perhaps the other team's performance that day dictates how you play? And the reason I ask is we just saw Team Laws being a little bit defensive earlier on. Tirinzoni having a chance to capitalize last end with a big score. They didn't. And now we saw a little bit of more defensive play from Laws, and Tirinzoni kind of changing up and playing that aggressive call. Does that factor in ever to how you call your own shots based on the other team?
I think so. I mean, every team has their own game plan and comfort level with how they play, and they're thinking about not throwing the guard, which I think they need to guard here. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, and then the other thing is if you know that Team Tirinzoni is going to play pretty aggressive. They're going to come after you, so you got to be ready for that. But when you know a team's going to be aggressive, you can just be comfortable. Hey, we don't have to push the envelope. They'll do it for us. We can be, almost reactively offensive. And then if a team is struggling or playing exceptionally well, if you get up against a team and it's like, wow, they're not missing, you either say one of two things. We got to weather the storm here. This isn't normally how they play. But if it's against this team, you're like, well, they play like this often, so this looks like they're going to be on all day. We're going to have to maybe make some adjustments and make some more precise shots. So it's definitely part of it. And part of strategy is a feeling, a gut feeling. And I just feel like this is the best play, and right or wrong, that comes into it too. So they're playing this come around again, and I think this is good news maybe for Caitlin. Doesn't seem like they wanted to play the draw, so they'll get to play the run back here.
A stop top 4. Tirinzoni, line 3.
Short run back. I think maybe they played that because knowing that this run back, if it's made, the shooter's not in the rings. But if this is made well, it will stay buried and double off the back two reds. And this is developing nicely for Team Laws. They need a big shot here out of Selena, though.
Looking to make contact. That red on the forefoot. Close. Gonna get two. Oh, it's gonna stuff in the back.
Yellow looks to be shot. Don't even need your eagle eyes for that one, I don't think, do I?
No.
Let me know if I'm wrong. So
no, you're safe on that one.
Same freeze now, and you can see that one just over curled. Freeze. I know that one. Ideally, you would get kind of low side, so over curl the nose of this one a little bit, and really trying to close down the scoring area for Caitlin, but it's a pretty good situation.
Tirinzoni team, they're always so confident.
No fear, hey? They just, this is the best shot, and let's just make it. They're pretty unflappable. I mean, I don't know what's going on inside, but you never really see them look too down or too up, and
especially Alina.
Yeah, she just looks like a stone cold killer. This is a pretty good line. Yeah, just like that. That's if you could walk it down, that's where you'd put it. So how does Caitlin get in for another one? And because it overcurled, Alina could pick that yellow one too on her next.
What about those angles at the top of the house, Brent? The side of the forefoot on the other side is available if they do want to draw in, but those angles just line up so perfectly.
Yeah, like where Caitlin's broom just passed there. You could get one half buried there, but then the yellow-red, as you said, just goes directly into it and rolls towards the button, and you would have no way to get it. Caitlin's going to get rid of this angle now. She set a hair low. She could also just kind of nose it. Or just hack weight. Maybe it's easiest to hit and roll low with your shooter and leave the one that's coming in right there. You want a yellow one, yeah. You want, that's what she had called, I thought, yeah.
Sure, she just called it. I wasn't sure we could get that low.
Well, there, that answers that.
Let's make it sound like it was her idea, girls. Give her some confidence down there. So trying to roll the shooter over to kind of guard that pick that we talked about and leave the raised rock right top 8 wide open in a really good spot.
Caitlin Law's first stone. Trying to keep it straight. Jocelyn Peterman, that's going to roll. Little.
Oh, that's no good. Leaves a very, very makeable double here for Alina to lie 2 buried. Just lost it a little bit on the sweep call, and that's so close to absolutely perfect, but instead it's pretty bad. Curling's not a fair sport, Robbie. If you're looking for fair, you're in the wrong place, but life's not supposed to be fair. Never was it?
No, you can say that again.
I say that to my 8-year-old all the time. Skyla's favorite line is, "That's not fair." It's not supposed to be fair, Skyla. You get what you deserve in life. You get what you work for.
Scoring here is huge.
I've spent some time with Skyla and Isabella and Carol Jones over the years at these events.
They miss coming. That's why they're kind of angry that Jen retired. They don't blame me. They blame their mom. Mom, are you sure you don't want to make a comeback? That's just too easy for Alina. She's never going to miss that shot. And a big shot here, as Caitlin said, important we score here, and no doubt it is. I guess she could take on the run double, but that's just too difficult. And back-to-back perfect shots here for Alina. So these taps are always difficult. Not only do you have to get the weight right, you have to get the line right. So it looks to me like there's a bunch of places to hit it high, and if you're a little heavy, it can chip off the top one. I don't think there's a hole through there. So don't want to be light here. And they do know it curls because they just over curled on the hack waiter. So let's hear what Caitlin thinks here. I don't see why it wouldn't.
Feet compared to what I threw this way for my tap.
Yeah, that's the comforting thing is Connor talked her into playing a tap in this spot going the other way, so.
The final stone, fourth end. Maitland Laws going to find her way to the forefoot for a single point. Facing two. Trying to keep this straight. Sweeper's working on it. It's pretty close.
Looks perfect.
Perfect is the word. So one on the board for Team Laws. They'll take a 2-1 lead. 4 ends in the books here at the Coyote National at the Mary Brown Center in beautiful St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. We'll be right back.
This is the Cornwall Curling Club. It's my home club. I started curling here when I was 7 years old. I decided to stick with curling because I really enjoyed the small team environment. I curled with the same girls from the time I was 9, basically until the end of juniors. So getting to form those friendships with my teammates was really special to me.
I started curling because of my grandparents, and both my parents curled and my brother, so it was just like a whole family thing. And when you walk into the curling club in Truro, Nova Scotia, and everyone greets you, and it's such a warm environment, and it's fun. After school, we'd go, and all of our friends would be there, so it was just like such a fun environment. And I got to curl with some of my closest friends growing up, so it really helped me keep in the game, and we all had the same goals.
I know what curling has done for our family, the opportunities it provided for both my girls. Nationally, you know, we've got to see travel the world. It's just a great sport. It's a small community. People, you know, at all levels. Everybody knows each other. It's kind of a unique sport that way.
It's a sport that enables him to build his confidence and to make friends while doing something that he really enjoys.
Right now, at the age that they're at, it's just awesome to see when they come here and they see their friends at the curling club and the stuff they do off the ice too, and smiles and hanging out and just enjoying their time with friends.
When you've conquered another game, a long day, a job well done, and the final work call, where your place. Come as you are, and fit in comfortably. Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casually.
Welcome back. Fifth end action here at the Mary Brown Center. Day 2, the Coyote National. Draw 5. Just chatting in the break between the two of us here in the booth. Entertaining one this has been. We hope for a similar second half. Team Laws with a 2-1 lead. You know Tirinzoni is going to be aggressive here, Brent, to put a crooked number on the board.
Yeah, some teams might try and play for the blank here. I don't think that's... Tirinzoni doesn't like to take any ends off. And I can appreciate that. I think whether they'll say it out loud or not, I think they're, in almost every game they play, they're the better team, you know, over a long period of time. So when you think that, or when you know that, you don't want to shorten the game. When I'm going up against a better team, I want the game to be as short as possible. Then the one mistake we might get is more costly, whereas over an 8-end, if we play aggressive every end, you know, they know they're going to win most games. So I think they've picked the strategy that matches their skill set.
Mine's good.
Brent, I'm a PEI curler who tries to go back to the Briar once every 5 years. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, good idea.
Remember that one.
Yeah. Well, now that Saville left, you probably have a better chance.
Yeah, big shout out to Craig Saville if you're tuning in. 6th place finisher at the 2023 PEI Men's Provincials.
Oh,
it's not going to get over.
So close to perfect. But now she owes all of St. John's around. Yeah, I got to be honest with you, Robbie. I was pulling for you guys that year, and I was a little bit surprised at where you finished. Craig had, Craig's a really confident fella. I don't know if you know that. He likes to talk a little bit of smack. And I was buying it, maybe not for the first time ever, but for one of the first times ever when Glenn wasn't his skip, I was buying his confidence, and it didn't really come around. You guys had a good team on paper.
Yeah, on paper.
On paper. Playdowns are a tricky thing. You get on, different club ice, and it's a completely different game than you see out here.
Yeah. Especially in some parts of the world, Brent.
Right.
There was one day during that week, and Craig came down and said, "That didn't curl." Or I just looked at him and said, "Yep, well, you've heard about it."
Yeah. No, it didn't, and it's not gonna.
Well, it might. You know what? In all honesty, we really enjoyed having Craig in PEI. He's back in Ottawa now, but he was certainly great for the game in the province. Did everything he could to promote and help out with juniors, and really a great guy to spend time with. So wish him all the best. Just transferred me $20 to say that. So.
Yeah. He knows. He's working on his image. He'll be back, I would assume, I think it's the Wednesday night Cash League at the Ottawa Club.
Mm-hmm.
But you're right, he's coaching the Czech team. He just loves the game and comes from a curling family. Nobody loves curling more than his dad, Brian, who was a coach of ours in juniors and a big part of our development.
Certainly loves the game. Craig and I actually covered some Canada Games curling last year in the booth. He invited me over to his house for lunch between games, and kind of thinking it's going to be great. We'll just chat about anything for a few hours just to kind of
What do you like?
reset the brain, and nope, it was 3 hours of curling. Now we miss Craig on the island, so.
He'll be back. I think their plan, they would love to have a place there. I mean, they did get married there. Karen's mom and stepdad are there, and lots of family. Her brother has a place there, and it's a place they'd like to be. So who knows? I think they'll find a way to be on the island, at least maybe summers.
Well, he's got unfinished business. He wants to reach the podium.
True.
At the men's provincials. So. Never know. This one gonna roll on.
Is he eligible for the clubs yet? Because that might be more his speed now, Robbie.
Nice. Good.
I sent him a contract offer, but his agent didn't get it signed. So
good shot there. I mean, it's very defensive, and I'm not sure how they're going to get out of the deuce now without a miss, but could have just froze on the back one and tried to start making sure somebody scores here. I think if you're Caitlin, you would love to force to one. If you give up two, it's not ideal, but it's not the worst.
Just over-rolling.
So here's the chance. I was wondering how they're going to get out of it. Here it is.
So do you like board? Do you like board or 10? Sorry? Do you like board?
So here's the chance. You might not get another one. So Selena Nagovin here with the board weight hit and roll right under their own center guard, and that would probably force Silvana to throw the run back. So she didn't like it early.
Caitlin calling for the curl early, trying to carve it.
Straight, hard. Whoa, let it roll.
Roll here, trying to get underneath. Won't get quite far enough. So that one's still exposed. Team Laws lays one, but chance for Tirinzoni to lie two here in the later stages of this fifth end. I mentioned Team Tirinzoni, they don't like to take ends off, so looks like they're going hard for their two. I wouldn't say hard, but trying to keep it in play here.
Yeah, and Alina identified the challenge here. If we roll to my broom, we're going to leave her a roll back. That's no good. If we roll wide, there'll be a nose double. That's not ideal, but better than the short roll. So what if we try and just throw just enough weight to kill it and try and nose it? That's the best result here. That looks like a lot of weight to make that happen, though.
Trying to make this curl. Need to keep the shooter. Oh yeah, it's going to finish up. Over the side of the 12-foot.
So heads up, and yeah, that's better than the partway roll, because now at least if they make the double, you're going to be able to hit and stay. And I don't think they'll go around the center guard, but they could. Team Hasselberg continues to roll. Big 3-ender against Team Gim in the 4th end, so they're up 4-1 here in front of us. After missing the last slam, they were one of the teams that decided not to take on that slam, Euro slam schedule. Can't overcurl and jam this.
Oh, that's going to go through the hole, but nice roll to the button.
Mostly covered, actually. A good audible there.
Selena just struggling to find the right side of the inch here this morning.
I even thought if it jiggled through. Got out, Langy!
Good.
No.
Plan B called. You see, it's pretty much totally buried.
Same kind of shot for Silvana, probably just less weight. Kind of just enough to kill it now. Need to kill it, though, because you want to keep the blank alive. Other update, Xenia Schwaller against Team Tabata. They're up 3-1 is Schwaller, and Tabata has the hammer in 5. And the final game is 4-1 Fujisawa over Yoshimura. Yoshimura with the hammer in the 5th end. Sounds pretty good.
Trying to make it curl.
Trying to get to the nose and kill it. Pretty good effort, but there is room there for Caitlin to make a roll to the top of the 4-foot. Might be like a hack weight shot now.
I'm just curious if you try to make it this way. Like, I feel like they can chase. I don't know, I'm just thinking.
Yeah.
Really?
It'll throw
I disagree, but interesting here. A chance to roll under your own tight guard, top 4-foot. They're worried. Selena's worried they can chase. Well, they can chase. But I mean, if you roll wide, they can also hit and lie too. So I think you want to make them make the hardest shot and with the highest risk. So if they did get a mistake, you'd be top 4. Anyway, they're going to try and hit and roll away, Robbie. Roll right in front of second shot and make Alina's first as tough as possible to lie too.
Caitlin Laws, her first here in the 5th end. Looking on this to keep it straight. Castellina's last stone move a lot in this spot. That one perhaps a little more weight, but just didn't get the same movement. Chance now for Tirinzoni to get under cover.
You see, the original call was the roll wide. They knew they weren't getting that. They tried to sweep on the curl there to get Kristen to move it over to get the roll under and got the in between.
21 on Kristen's that didn't get over.
Same path as she's been throwing? Yep.
So a little flip under, even if it just gets a piece under, just don't want to leave the roll. Or the other option is a big overroll. Change the spot up on Caitlin.
Yeah, it was in the exact same
Oh, Alina didn't like that throw.
Trying to keep it straight. Earl Hovald. This looks close. Trying to get the center line. Won't get there. Tirinzoni lies too.
What roll do you like? There.
What don't you hate?
You go.
You got to roll under. Really?
I don't think it's worth playing it cute, so I like rolling in front.
Okay. Doesn't want to bring the potential wreck into play. Okay, it makes some sense.
I like the throw, Caitlin.
Okay. So then I think that should be close.
A little earlier.
Just a couple, yeah.
Just confirming if we're going to change the weight or increase the ice or just sweep it earlier. You don't want to fix all three of those things and hit and roll out on the wide side.
Caitlin Laws, her final stone here in the 5th end. And a hit and roll away. Trying to keep this straight. Jocelyn Peterman.
Sounds pretty good.
How far is it going to roll?
Nice.
Very nice. That jam on the yellow might not. I think if it jams on the yellow, Robbie, you're the eyes. It's really close. It might just be red.
I
eh?
think if it dead jams, they're okay for 2. But any roll in.
So precise shot here. Light hack weight. If anything, this is the one spot, and especially on sheet A, we're on sheet B, but this is the one spot that yesterday was fooling teams on the straight side. So didn't get the curl they were expecting. So I don't think this will take off on her, so it's important to get the weight right.
Yeah, if there was like quarter rock space, I think I would have felt.
Need to be pretty precise on this. Good point. Haven't seen many of these inside out yet. Elena Petz, final stone, 5th end. Looking for 2.
Sweepers are saying light, but I don't think it's light.
Trying to make this curl. Curl Havald. The angle's good. It's going to stick around. It will.
Too easy. That's a hard shot, and she just made it look easy again.
So 2 red. Tirinzoni takes the lead, 3-2. Another look at it. Sticks in the 8-foot, so that'll do it. 5 ends in the books, 3-2. Tirinzoni leads Team Laws in Newfoundland. We'll be right back.
I've stood at the pinnacle of curling and battled in the most intense games.
Out on the ice, there's no room for compromise.
And when the pressure's on, every millimeter counts.
It's not just a game.
It's about maximizing performance,
pushing limits,
seizing victory.
When victory hangs in the balance,
I know what I'm relying on.
It's a gold line. It's a gold line.
It's a gold line.
And it's the choice of champions.
Welcome back to the Mary Brown Center here in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. Certainly some passionate curling fans in this part of the country. Specifically, perhaps for one team, Brent. What a good crowd all day yesterday, and they're back early this morning, showing their support for the event. And they've been treated to some great curling here on Sheet B.
It only gets better as the week goes on and the players get more comfortable with the ice. And when does that slight hometown favorite team play today? They play at 4 again, or do they play tonight?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
It's going to be bumping. I'm on the call at 4 o'clock, so I think we might even be doing their game, which would be way less distracting because you hear all the cheers and then you got to look over.
When you've conquered another
that yesterday, team Miskatowicz from Germany making their Grand Slam debut, at least in the Tier 1 this week. And I chatted with them before the game. I said, guys, I know you know this already, but just want to let you know once again, like, it's going to be loud, and I don't want you to think I'm trying to put you down.
Hold on to your socks.
And they just looked at me and they said, Robbie, you do whatever you need to do.
Yeah. And you said, it doesn't matter what I do, it's going to happen anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I looked over at them. They had the biggest smiles on their faces. And after the game, they lost 6. I forget what the final score was. Last I saw was 6-2. And I said to them by the dressing room, I said, how was that, fellas? They said, we had the most fun out there we've had in a long time.
Yeah. I'm sure that they didn't love the result, but that's an atmosphere they would have never played in before. That's not like any European or even World Championship they would have played in, I don't think. It's just a different feeling when the building's absolutely jammed, only cheering for one team.
And it's not often we get to buildings this size as well. This is certainly a level up in terms of seating capacity that we're used to, which is great. So often in curling, how many times do you hear discussions, whether it's on podcasts or talk, news talk shows or what have you, about how, we're in smaller buildings now compared to once upon a time and blah, blah, blah. And this is growth. It's great to see a great turnout yesterday, and I know it's pretty much sold out all week, so it's going to be certainly exciting for the sport as a whole. Here in St. John's.
It's nice to see that there's now only one curling podcast, the Broom Brothers. All the others, if they haven't already canceled, they will soon. Great shot there, and a perfect start. This is how you draw it up. Curling camps and clinics and stuff, you do the strategy boards, right? And everybody wants to know the strategy, and you quietly say to yourself in your head, well, you never make the shots anyway, so the strategy is going to go to shit right away. But this is what it looks like on the strategy board. Center guard, corner guard, come around, freeze. Now another freeze, and who's going to try and blow it up first? Caitlin will probably run this back because that freeze was made so well by Kristen Gordon.
Yeah, buckle up with this setup. Center guard to corner guard, perfect freeze. Game on. Here we go, a little tap from Bavald.
So the run back now, as predicted. Jocelyn wants to save the shooter here. Right on the nose would be pretty good, actually. If anything, a hair across. If you jam this on the red, you double the reds in the house and roll the shooter towards your corner guard. That would be ideal.
Back contact on the reds.
Pretty good. Two corner guards, shot rock, and advantage Team Laws. Good looking chance at a deuce. The unfortunate part when you don't have the hammer is if the team with the hammer makes 8 shots, it's almost always going to be a deuce.
Once again, Brent, you're up here with a PEI curler. A lot of those times we would have taken a deuce against us.
Good shot there, and Caitlin going to ignore those? Probably can't. They're too close to the forefoot and on the center line, so need to make a hit and roll. Can Jocelyn follow up a great shot on her first with the key hit and roll here to set up the deuce?
Jocelyn Peterman.
Sounds like a roll on top now, maybe. Right on the nose, and not much that Alina and Silvana can do here other than hit and stay, and hope that they don't make the perfect roll. I don't see much to talk about here.
Jocelyn Peterman just threw that one. She's married to Brett Gallant, obviously. They got married in PEI a couple summers ago. Great wedding DJ at that one.
Well, I heard about that guy.
Yeah.
One of the best in the world.
No one plays brown-eyed girl like that guy. A great family. They purchased land on PEI. You get to see them time to time in the summer. Truly love curling. They're tuned in here. Paul and Nancy. In Red Deer.
Is that DJ maybe going to make an appearance at the Grand Slam of Karaoke, do you think?
I don't know.
Oh, no? You don't know yet?
I don't know if they could afford it.
Well, that's true. So I think they just decided to nose it. I think what they were talking about is maybe throwing it harder and try and get a little roll under to cut off the corner guard, but I'm not sure that's really worth it.
Starting to get some late movement, trying to get a little roll.
He did try and go for a little roll there, and at least now the roll off the top one isn't going to be shot rock. But it's still going to be a good opportunity for Team Laws to potentially score 2 here, and 2 would up 1 without playing 7 is a pretty good position to be in.
after that roll behind the corner. Ooh, just a little far. Gonna be open on the outside, kind of caught in the middle.
Could hit and roll, could draw here, I guess, but I think this makes the most sense. Hit and roll all the way back in. If you could roll right to the back of the forefoot, I think they'd love that, even if it's open. Probably better if it's open, yeah, right there.
So a chance to lie two here for Team Tirinzoni. 1 point lead here in the 6th.
Thinking this one might be heavy. The sweeper's called it out of Silvana's hand.
Trying to make it curl. Well, that one did get some late movement.
That's perfect.
Roll on the back of the forefoot.
Past the guard, so there's no freeze behind the guard. And if they hit and roll now, it's going to be behind the tee line and probably not shot. Just an impressive game by both teams, really. Not very many misses and lots of great shots so far. Caitlin needs to make sure she scores here, but there's still a chance for two. Make the hit and roll. Maybe Alina freezes and bumps it a bit, and then Caitlin has the ability to make that cross house double.
Trying to get it behind cover, they will.
Pretty good.
Not shot rock, so a chance for Alina Petz to make a good one here and lay two.
So wants to be T-line. Would love to get all the way over to that one, but I would suggest that the other option is you just get it buried above the T-line. Then there's no double. If this goes right to the T-line and you bounce, there might be a double off of shot rock. I like the pace that Alina plays at too.
I like the pace that Alina lives life by.
True, true.
Alina moves at one speed. She's
top speed?
Top speed. She's one of the coolest cats in the game, that's for sure.
Going hard for line here.
I haven't seen a lot in this path. Trying to keep it straight. Front end. This one's really moving sideways. Slide too deep.
Right over curl. Did it stay? They said good. Okay, Robbie. Need ya.
Two line. Red line two.
Two line red.
It's the morning drop, Brent.
That's fair. Yesterday, I couldn't get characteristic out of my mouth. I tried like 6 times, and I hadn't even been to George Street. I still haven't been to George Street.
Too bad there's not a 2 a.m. drop.
Oh, we'd be really good at those, eh? So over curled a bit, so there is room for Caitlin to draw in there. Even almost for shot rock if it was perfect. I don't know what else. Like, there's really no other option. I guess you could, you could play off the shot rock into the back yellow and be shot. But Alina's just going to have the same draw. And you don't want to leave these players, the top players in the world, the same shot twice.
Especially Alina Petz.
Yeah, as John Schuster so famously said, I've got a clip saved on my phone where he missed one and then he makes his second one and then he says, "You can't leave me the same shot twice, bitches."
I'm gonna write that down too.
I'll send you the clip. It's classic. I should have showed it to Schuster last night. He got screeched in too.
That should be on a t-shirt. That should be on a t-shirt.
Should be in the rock shop. When we finally get to the U.S., that's got to be a rock shop t-shirt.
Yep.
Sounds like and looks like they like it a lot.
Mine looks pretty close.
Put it right on the corner. That is really good. It isn't shot, but where does Alina go? It's to go just past it so that the double jams. So drawn to about a 12-inch space. You can see this one's managed just perfect, Robbie.
See the different line, the path it took as well. Compared to Alina's first.
Yep.
He looks to be taking more ice here. Gonna get closer to the middle.
So even if she's just beside Caitlin's there won't be any double, and then she has about, a rock and a half of depth to work with where the double will jam. She needs basically the same speed as her last one, but needs to take some more ice. Doesn't really need to be buried here. As long as it's past the shot rock and not past the back one. That's the fourth shot. Any double will probably jam, so. Sweepers looked kind of tentative early, but.
Trying to get it there. Need to get second shot. So they're going for distance. Get a little chap to lie too, they won't.
Vanna was worried if that bounces much farther and moves that red, it might have been a hit for 3.
Is there a double off the top red?
No. No, there isn't. I think it's pretty, well, maybe there is, but this is the shot. Can't nose it though, so a bit of a tricky one, but it has a couple of catchers to roll into.
Think the girls, Lena. Okay. Yeah. We got to roll it at least.
So a big chance for Caitlin Laws to take the lead back here in the 6th end.
10.5.
Needs to stay pretty close to the forefoot.
I think this will
To lock up her deuce. Final stone here in the 6th. Caitlin Laws.
Clean. Whoa. Clean. Whoa. Curl.
This one doesn't seem to be moving like it was the other way. There it goes off the line. Is going to stick around in the forefoot with a catch in time. It will. So 2 on the board for Team Laws and a big deuce in the 6th end. Tirinzoni will take the hammer going into the 7th. Trailing by 1. Don't go anywhere. It's the KIOTI National live from St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. We'll be back.
Game. A long day. A job well done. And the final work call. Wear your place. Come as you are. And fit in comfortably. Mr. Mike's. Eat locally, enjoy casual.
Welcome back to the Mary Brown Center here in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. Draw 5 coverage here from the KIOTI National. 3rd event this season on the Grand Slam of curling. Hard to believe, 3rd event of the year. This season flies by, and great shooting from both teams this game. Last end, both teams trying to mix it up, and Team Laws coming out with a deuce.
Alina's last one just over curling there, having to take a wider path because Caitlin made her first one so good and misjudged a little bit. Sweepers thought it was maybe heavy early and just lost the line, and heads up by Silvana. If they get too aggressive there and bounce, they could have given up a hit for 3. So 1 point lead for Laws heading to the 7th. And as you said, Robbie, our fearless leader, Nick Selski, one of the big brains behind the curling group, is 45 minutes away from his run up Signal Hill to raise money for Daffodil Place.
Yeah, pretty awesome thing to do. Nick's 16-year cancer survivor. And to raise money for a great cause, you can find a link to donate on his X account at Nick Sulsky. All the best to you, Nick. Tie your shoes. I wonder if he's wearing the goose shoes.
I think he probably is going to wear his own runners for now, but you never know with Nick.
You know, I was going to say, with most people, I'd agree. But
yeah. He was on CBC this morning, I believe, talking about it, which is pretty awesome, and I'm sure he maybe talked about the Grand Slam of curling as well. He doesn't just love the game, he loves the players, he loves everything about curling, and that's a big part of why he got into it. And so far, everything him and his group have said they're going to do, they've done, and I would say exceeded all expectations so far, so I wouldn't doubt the guy.
And fast. Did it in a hurry as well.
Big time.
Yeah.
And some of the conversations that are being had at dinner tables across Canada are pretty exciting. Nowhere near my place to share anything, but yeah, stay tuned. Get that Grand Slam of Curling app. Follow the Grand Slam of Curling. And if you're a fan of the game and the players, you're going to love the next couple of weeks, months, and years. And if you're a young curler,
it's an exciting time.
Very exciting.
Be involved in the sport. We've heard for years, I think my sister made a joke. She doesn't curl, but she came to visit me one year at an event. She was living in Toronto and dropped in. She said to me, Robbie, it's the only place, it's the only sporting event I've ever been to where I feel like I have to whisper. That always stuck with me. And I said,
it's true.
Hearing Nick and his enthusiasm for just growing the atmosphere and growing the game, it's refreshing as someone who's curled for over a decade now, involved in the sport in more ways. So big love for the curling group. All the best, Nick. Don't get lost on the hill.
I heard rumors Johnny Moe might be maybe running beside him for moral support. More like probably running way behind him, but and maybe even a rumor that Ryan Fry, jet lag and all, and he's not really a runner, so I don't think he should do that. But he used to live in Newfoundland. He knows how uphill it is. So hey, pick your battles.
I was meant to mention that to you earlier. I ran into Ryan in the hotel, and a lot of people excited to be in Newfoundland and Labrador this week. Ryan might be at the top of the list. He's told me many times he truly loved being here and experienced living here and the culture around Newfoundland and Labrador. He's excited.
So again, lots of shots made early, everything piling up in the forefoot, and Team Tirinzoni trying to figure out how to deal with this. They'd be happily take a blank. They'd happily take two. They would not happily be forced to one here. And a steal would also probably not make them very happy. So line shot shooting. Could freeze another one on their red. That would be pretty good. That looks hard, but that's a good shot too. If you can chase that, and even if you chip the guard, I think is their thought. But that's going to look not very appetizing from the hack, the in-turn back liner. But it would be a really good result if you can get close to the guard, hit about a third of that, and throw it behind the tee line and roll the shooter to the side. Both teams with lots of time left, so no worries there. They've each burned one timeout. I think they did decide, Robbie, to just throw the freeze on the red one. If they could just bump it a little bit just to get that yellow one off the side of shot rock. Like bump it an inch or two.
Doesn't look heavy. Sweeper's working on this one to keep it straight.
It's over curling. It's onto the yellow. Ooh, and that's not good. Now, yeah, Caitlin's going to freeze another one there. And
it's Tirinzoni team making a lineup change.
Yeah.
A month and a half ago, switching around the front end, and seems to be paying dividends for them. Look pretty comfortable out there. And
Selena was an up-and-coming skip, and she qualified for a slam last year, I believe. Maybe one or two slams as a skip. And I remember, or maybe even 2 years ago, I remember Victor Schell, who was the national team coach at the time, saying she's the real deal. So she'll be learning a ton. And as this team decides eventually to disband and step away, I'm sure she'll head back to the tee head. A couple of light over curls here. That was a huge opportunity for Jocelyn to really lock this end up.
15-7.
Still a pretty good setup. Yeah, that would be nice to move that. I don't think that's super easy, but
It's that red rock, and you're the expert, not me, but it looks like that red rock in the top button causing Tirinzoni most of the problems this end.
yeah, the angles just aren't very good for her. And I think if she plays the first shot she said, I don't think that yellow one's going to go very far unless you absolutely fire it. I think it's going to kill shot rock, and I don't see anything really good though. Run it back and blow it up and make sure you score, or I think you try and make the freeze that Jocelyn was just trying to make. And another timeout.
Their second timeout called. Try and listen in.
Elena seems to have an idea. She came racing down, pointing at something. That, I think, makes some sense. Can't let Caitlin get another one on that yellow. That was a big dodge for Team Tirinzoni. If that was made by Jocelyn, this end was all but over for Tirinzoni. So you hear Connor talking to his team down there, and if they play the runner and don't make contact, here's what we're going to do. I think no matter what they do, if they don't move anything, you got to freeze. You got to make that shot that they just tried. Problemo, yeah, I agree. It's a problemo.
Yeah, for sure.
They're shot, but they're in trouble.
Tirinzoni hanging on at the moment, but not in a great position here.
That would be an unbelievable shot if you could make that. The fact that Alina even sees that is impressive. So the center guard into just past the top 12 yellow, into the red, biting the top 8, and then into the pile. That's possible, and it would totally change this end. I think even if it goes straight back and just blows everything up, I don't think that's the worst.
You mentioned earlier about Tirinzoni not liking to take an end off. Just kind of wondering how they'd approach this end going into it if they try to do anything they could to keep a blank in play. They went right for the freezes early on.
And I think that is their way of kind of keeping the blank alive, because we've seen them with the hammer almost every time throw a corner guard. And this time, probably knowing that Caitlin's going to throw a potential another center if they did that. So they've settled on the run back. Like I said, I think anything in there might look bad for a second if it's not perfect, but there is one shot. Yellow into red into yellow. Oh, it doesn't sound made though. When you hear whoa whoa on a run back, it's not a make.
You get the straight peel.
I still think Caitlin needs to consider. You could throw it guard back, or you could freeze.
I don't mind throwing the guard this way, just in case drawing. Split that. Like a 17.
Going to replace this, Brent?
Yeah, I think that's the plan. And then I think Sylvana's first, she'll still play that same shot that Carol just tried, but I'm having trouble seeing a deuce here for Team Tirinzoni at the moment. I have a hard time believing that that one top button's going to be there at the end of the end.
Trying to get it to the center line. Jocelyn Peterman Working on it.
Nur hinten 4 oder wie? Ah, jetzt müssen wir nachspielen. Okay, ja. 10,5 oder was?
I think they covered enough of that top yellow.
No, it looks like they can chase it, and it's not really about killing it. It's about moving that red one up and getting the yellow one, maybe even over to the side 8-foot for some kind of in-off later. And they need something that can come from this side of the sheet to get into that one that's on the center line. That's the real killer for the Team Tirinzoni, is that frozen rock right on the center line. Probably looking for, you don't want to be too light here because it's going to touch the red, so you want it to, the yellow one to squirt out into the open. Maybe like a just board or heavy hack.
This one looks tight early as well. Trying to keep it straight. Hovald trying to get it by that center guard. Will they get it by? It's diving at the middle. It won't. So another miss from Tirinzoni.
Take a go guard again.
Here in the 7th end.
This is like an inch less. What'd she say? What, Caitlin? It's like an inch less.
A chance for Laws to put a better guard up.
Guys, I got some meat.
It's the end. The later it goes in the end, sitting like this, the probably less likely it is for a deuce, but at the same time, will they, with that fearless attitude, will Alina draw on her first? Could she throw the out-turn draw to the back button on
sit for line this time.
Sylvana's first? Oh, there's almost not even a hole there.
Okay, clean then. Yep.
That out-turn draw is kind of not even there anymore.
Good judge.
So decision time. Tirinzoni.
Trying to switch gears a little. I don't mind this. Got to change these angles and get something in the way of, as we look at it there, the left yellow one in the 4-foot. Maybe line something up. If you can tap this in there, just past the M and slam of curling, you might be able to line up something on both sides here and kind of protect. Ultimately, Caitlin's going to hit in line 2 at some point, probably on her next shot. So you need this to get in the way of that. I think it's quite heavy.
Trying to make it curl.
Whoa.
Alina Vichonki. Touch it, but not.
Lines up down the middle a lot better, but
Whatever. Even if we can
Center
get
guard
this here
out
to the
front.
7. Yeah. If we can get this, that like just a quarter off even, but and freeze.
freeze bump, so then they'll have them on both sides, and
It's important to not roll off. So you're right there for that guard. I'm trying to think from there.
Yeah, we can play the freeze and then sweep it if line's perfect.
Yeah.
Got it.
so if this shot is made, if she can ever bump it, like she said, like a quarter rock, then the red's going to go behind the combo on the left-hand side there, behind the red-yellow combo. It's going to line up perfect. These yellows would line up if her shooter stays there, and I don't know what Alina's going to do.
Skip stones here in the 7th end. Caitlin Laws looking to apply more pressure. She's got a 1-point lead without the hammer.
Line's good. Boom down. Clean. Roll line. Roll the line. Roll. Close. Yeah. Hard. Whoa. Curl.
It needs to curl. Stone Gordon going to try to move it over.
Really good. Oof. I don't know that that's very good. I mean, I get it, but this is big trouble. You can't guard because Caitlin's got a very makeable angle raise on that corner guard yellow one to lie 2 or 3.
Gut, das ist, ich weiß nicht, was sonst ehrlich gesagt. Wenn wir da Guard machen, macht es jeder. Der Guard.
I don't really have any suggestions here. Come down and bump the red into the yellow and maybe move your shot rock, you know, a rock away from the angles. Yeah, move that to there. That's not very fun to throw, but I think that's maybe it. You gotta throw it fairly hard to move it far enough too. Yeah. Probably at least a back line, even almost hack.
A lot of rocks to move.
Is that nose is good?
That's the call.
And the thicker you hit it, almost the less you're going to hit of the shot rock, so almost the harder you got to throw it.
Certainly some uncharacteristic misses in this end from this team from Switzerland. Mentioned the schedule they've played the last month. Olena Petz, her first here in 7. Gonna move things around inside of the 4-foot. This one's curling, trying to keep it straight as Lavalde.
This looks pretty good. Yeah, whatever finish 9 means really good. Did those reds line up though?
That's what I'm wondering is there ever a nose triple?
Yeah, if there is. Ooh, how would they get in there?
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
They're worried that there's a yellow triple. I don't think that middle one's ever gone. Or the top one. I think you try this. What's the worst case?
Unless we... No, there's no hit there.
Easy and Gus?
Yeah.
What a hell of a shot that was, though. Could pick the back one. She can see the edge of it.
If we guard it...
Lie 2.
I think that's going into it. I think they could at least... Oh, you can't guard that. We have to leave her that side. Yeah. Timeout!
So they're worried again. I guess you could get just to nose and maybe get that one spinning.
So that if that doesn't outcount this one. They just got to move it so it's there. And then I don't see it.
On the nose of the 2?
And then I don't see the 2. Even if we're not shot necessarily, we just got to make it so that yeah. Just got to tap it to it's like all in a line. So really like one rock at most is all we're tapping it. Just so right there. Yeah. I think.
So what's the danger here, Brent, with this call? They're looking to tap it just a rock.
I'm thinking.
I don't see much danger. That triple they're worried about is sure is hard. I think it's hard to tell from up here, but if that red on the right side, if that nose hit was anywhere close to hitting that back one, which I think is really close, I might give that a go. They're worried about this yellow triple. And this tap, if they're tapping it, they're just trying to tap it far enough so that the reds on the left-hand side would hit the yellow and it would just jam into the shot rock red. So I don't think that's that much of a concern, but
so a big shot here. And Caitlin Laws trying to put more pressure on Team Tirinzoni.
That's T-line.
Entertaining matchup thus far this morning. It's rocks in play.
Caitlin just threw this. I'd be concerned their conversation, you know, just tap it 6 inches. Like, we don't want to move it too far. Everything leading to don't overthrow it. So we'll see if Caitlin, I think you can throw a little extra if it just goes back to your yellow, and it's pretty good.
Easy early. Easy early. Oh, curl. Close. Curl. Curl. Straight. Straight.
Trying to keep it straight, little change in gears.
This is light. It's just kind of talked themselves into that.
A chance for 2 here.
So they think it hits the yellow, so that maybe that's why Caitlin didn't play. It might not be quite lined up, but oh, they're thinking maybe this is there. I don't know about that.
Ich glaube, wenn wir das 11 spielen, können wir wie nichts schießen. Das 11 auf die Nase. Das 11 auf die Nase.
This is just a tap for 2, isn't it?
Aber das 11.
Well, that was my gut reaction. And then Alina started tapping that top yellow and kind of got me thinking, but
Ja, ich habe das Gefühl, das geht nicht.
I don't really see many other options. Big point, though.
A huge point. So
This looks unmissable.
Caitlin thinks it looks unmissable. The yellows.
Backline ist keine Option. Wenn wir leicht aufprallen und nachher...
It would be for 3. Hard right on the nose, jam the yellow. I don't think it gets the side yellow though. But again, it's hard to tell without going to the side and having a good angle look at it.
Ja, mit einfach was einfacher ist, oder?
Ja.
Sicher aussen.
Ja, 10,5, 11, so ist gut.
I think the tap, and depending on how it's lined up, if it does touch the yellow, if you hit it on the high side, you can throw, you know, there's a lot of different weights you can make this, probably anywhere from hack to back, you know, almost back 12.
10,5, 11, so ist gut.
We're going to find out. She'll be close.
Buckle up, curling fans. Final stone, 7th end. Alina Petz.
She's throwing speed at this. So she's pretty sure it's going to hit that yellow.
See what reaction it gets. Is it going to hold on in the back 4? It won't.
Too hard.
So 1 red and a big point left on the table for Team Tirinzoni. Going to be an exciting one coming home, tied up. Team Laws with the hammer. It's the Coyote National from the Mary Brown Center in St. John's, Newfoundland.
When it comes to the game we love, having the right gear makes all the difference.
Gold Line's new curling shoes and brooms are a game changer.
The shoes, unbelievably comfortable.
And the brooms, lightweight and effective, giving you control on every sweep.
When I step onto the ice, I'm not just prepared, I look sharp.
Have you seen these shoes? They are a game changer.
And the brooms, light as a feather.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
It's a Gold Line.
And is the choice of champions.
Welcome back. Good Draw 5 coverage here at the Coyote National. Third event on the Grand Slam of curling this season. What a stop this has been so far in the beautiful Mary Brown Center. The passionate fans of St. John's, Newfoundland, and Labrador are taking this one in. An exciting one thus far, back and forth all morning between these two teams. So, going to be a fun one to watch. Center guard goes up for Team Tirinzoni. Job by Selena. Bobby Doherty alongside Brent Lang into the action this morning.
Line's great.
There's a chance now for
Line's
Team
great.
Laws to get one in a good position. I mean, have to score 1 point to win this.
Really nice. It's sweet. It's through.
Some strategy here is pretty straightforward. If you're Team Tirinzoni, you want double centers on the center line, so no chip shot is allowed. And a good first one from Kristen Gordon there. Just a bit of a misread, I guess, on Alina's last one. Just threw it a bit too hard.
Good. I think top it. You like that?
So two good center guards, tough double peel. So Caitlin's deciding, let's get a couple of rocks in the forefoot that they're going to have to deal with.
Got a bite center. Bite center, bite center. Go, 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 go. Push, 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 push. Nice.
Nicely lined up right to the button.
Kristen with 2 peaches here in this 8th end.
Probably the most important shot of the end here. Need to get one to the back of the button. Carol needs to throw this back 8, back 12, spread these yellows around. Get one back 4, back button. Need to make sure there's enough weight to move it far enough. If this doesn't get behind the tee line, this doesn't look hard enough.
Here's Selena trying to keep this straight. It's diving at the center line. Not going to get it by the back one, I don't think so. Certainly not what they were looking for.
Just a little light, I think. 6 feet light. We got a peel now. It's just a matter of how to.
I think so. This is that's coming back into ours. This is the one.
Straight peel. I don't know what Tirinzoni probably has to deal with the ones in the house, as much as that doesn't feel right.
Got to be pretty happy with this setup if you're Team Laws right now.
And if your Team Tirinzoni, you're thinking, how do we play this so that we can end up getting one behind that one kind of on the left-hand side? I think you're still tapping, yeah. Maybe roll your shooter behind. The right one would be better, because you roll it behind the left one, they're going to peel that left one right away, and that's the guard I'd like to save somehow. Back line's close to the right weight.
Trying to make it curl.
This has got to get off the corner guard.
Pat's working on it. Trying to stick around, so.
Pretty good. So Caitlin needs to peel that center one. Yeah. Still a pretty good situation. Looks like we got our first final, Robbie. Team Hasselborg takes down Team Gim. Hasselborg with a 2-0 start.
They looked sharp yesterday. You're seeing how we didn't see them in Nisku taking the event off, which you don't see very often around these Grand Slam events.
Sounds good.
Spilling into the top 8 foot.
This is starting to look pretty bleak if you're a Tirinzoni fan.
All Japan battle on sheet A this morning. Fujisawa leading Yoshimura 6-3.
So Sylvana's still trying to get something behind the tee line to freeze to. If you don't have any guards, which it doesn't look like they're going to have any guards, you need something to freeze to, close to the button. Tap this on the nose or a shade on the center line side back beside the other one, and let's see what happens, but looking really good for Team Laws.
Warte, Achtung.
Savannah Tirinzoni, first here in the 8th end.
Go.
Late finish on this.
Goed zo, Tiri.
Roll in, will they get the angle?
Not bad.
Try and get this to go here.
The pocket set up on the side of the button. At this point, if you're Tirinzoni with no guards out front,
Think you want to get the shooter out
be
of
halfway
there.
through the end.
So firm. 3/4,
At least try to take the small wins.
Yeah,
pocket.
there it is. We're not dead yet.
No.
So Caitlin thinking there's enough space between these two, which it looks like there is, that it's probably just going where it's going. Like it's going to come probably straight back and clip that one on the button, but that wouldn't be bad. Shouldn't stay.
Gotta keep it straight.
Shooter, shooter, shooter. And 8. That's good.
Pretty good.
And that pocket is gone.
Yeah, maybe draw one back 4 though, or back 8 even. Now the best chance for Team Tirinzoni is starting to look like we need to find a way to lie 2, maybe make her draw the 4-foot, or even hit and stay against 2. Get one buried around here. They'll take on that run back that she just threw, and if you get any little miss, you got a chance.
Achtung, Linie, dran bleiben. Keine Linie ist gut. Zieh.
Trying to get buried somewhere in the back 4, back 8.
This is getting real tight.
Fest, Caro.
That spot has just been moving a lot. It's unfortunate. Miss for Tirinzoni.
Just pick it. If you make the double, that's fine. Okay.
I think you want to nose this. I'm with Selena.
My first thought was, like nose little high.
Like if you hit 2/3 and roll out and kill them both, I don't think that's awesome. I mean, it's still good, but not a lot of risk trying to nose this.
Team Laws his 3rd shot at the top of the 8-foot. Speed thrown at this. Selena. Not going to stick around, so both will go.
So yeah, now Alina's going to draw back 4. Caitlin's maybe going to run it, and if she ever noses it and sticks the runner, Alina might get to freeze on something that's very close to the button.
Ja, Schott, ja. Möglichst viel Abstand.
I think that was a big break there. If that stays on the nose, they got to deal with it eventually.
Exactly, yeah. I was like, I'd rather be on the, like, peel outside.
We've seen the spot a few times now, Brent. Lots of movement, so shouldn't have any trouble getting buried. Alina Pet's one of the best in the business.
Hat noch Platz.
Sweepers were on this one virtually out of her hand. Once again, trying to keep it straight.
The line looks really good.
That late movement.
Needs to just stop, doesn't it?
If they sit for shot rock, they will. Back 8.
Pretty good. That would have been... You're out of timeouts. That's a technical foul. You're out of timeouts.
Never mind. Sorry, I thought we had...
That's like the Fab Four. Michigan. That's a technical foul. That's going to cost you the national championship. Chris Webber.
Pardon the pun, too. The Coyote National.
Like, we can't draw because she's running it. But then I guess we have to draw, which is fine. we go there and she makes that, then I'll choose somewhere.
She's thinking of drawing here. Get your feel, but don't draw it there like a half a rock heavy and leave her the freeze that the game's over. I don't get this. I think you run the front, try and kind of nose it and clip the back, and even if you peel it off, she's gonna have to draw somewhere top 8 and leave you the whole 4-foot. So here Caitlin needs to draw the 4-foot, and if she does, the game's not over, but if she misses it, she's going to have another chance, I guess. But even if you peel that top one, then you got a chance to draw the 4-foot for the win, and line doesn't matter, and it's just a piece of the 4-foot. I don't know. What do you think, Robbie?
You don't want to be light either.
No.
Never stopped in the just off center line in the top 8 and staggered those. Had a staggered red, or excuse me, yellow on top of your yellow that's already in the 8-foot. Alina just threw that in-turn draw. Time will tell. Caitlin Laws, her first in the 8th. Tie game.
Line's good. Line's good. Line's good. Close. Yellow line. Yellow line.
Cannot do what you said, Robbie. It's awfully close to doing what you said. This has got to slide and bounce. This needs to bounce.
Rub it.
Oh,
ooh, and that's what we talked about. An opportunity now. In an end that looked like zero opportunity for most of it. 14 Tirinzoni.
Did you have a time on?
So important for
T-line.
Tirinzoni, T-line. I don't. If this is kind of top 4 half buried, Caitlin will have this the middle yellow one there. You know, about a 2-foot slash stick for the win, and that would be a very comfortable shot for her. Need to get this one all the way to the button. And with the curl, it will bury, so yeah, this is a big chance to steal.
You said it earlier in the broadcast. One player you don't want to leave the same shot twice.
No, for sure. And as a sweeper here, you know it's going to curl, so you just got to get the speed right. No Lange seems unlikely to me.
Mine looks really good. I'm going to get it to curl here, but
it's just heavy.
Whoa.
That's mismanaged, unfortunately. It's not bad. That could have been really good, though. And now she has to draw the button. Okay. Well, it comes down to this, Robbie.
Buckle up, curling fans. This is it. Good news for Caitlin, she just threw it.
Just keep it running for your hair longer.
Yeah, I'd be worried a little bit going wider. The speed might be a little bit better. It generally slows down in the middle a little bit, and like she said, I'll get it running for you a little bit.
Final stone, 8th end. Caitlin Laws needs the button. Put her team in the win column here in Newfoundland and Labrador.
Line's good. Line's good.
Sweepers like it.
Line's good. Right on the tee. Line is fine.
Should always curl enough, as long as it's not really heavy. It should get to the red.
I mentioned going wider. It might be a bit faster. They haven't put a brush to it yet. Trying to make it curl now. Will it stop in time? Needs to be button. Needs to be button. It is. And a huge draw from Caitlin Laws for the win over Team Tirinzoni here in Draw 5 at the Mary Brown Center. What a finish, Brent.
Non-stop action start to finish. That game kind of deserved that finish. Well played by both teams and a big win, and both teams go to 1-1.
So here we go. Things getting interesting here at the KIOTI National in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. Our coverage continues all day here The Home Team Network, Home Team Live, bringing you all the action. We'll be back at noon at Newfoundland time this afternoon. We invite you to tune in. It's going to be an exciting week here at the Mary Brown Center. For Brent Lang, I'm Robbie Doherty. We'll see you next time.
Curling fans, that wraps up draw number 5 here at the Mary Brown Center, the Coyote National. Be sure to join us at 12 noon with 4 great games on the ice, including Team Schwaller versus Team Miskanovich, Team McEwen versus Team Housley, Team White versus Team Bruner, and also Team Homan on the ice versus Team Black. That's at 12 noon. We'll see you back. A reminder, Outbreak Curl is open. The good times continue to roll here at the Coyote National. We'll see you back here for Draw 6.